said 1, 2, 3, and go.
But did it do this? I don't remember seeing that.
That wasn't going.
Okay, take
so we
two.
Get take two. Sweet. Well, hi, everybody.
Hi.
This is what we did for our summer camp.
Kerry and Duane's excellent adventure at Inman Camp.
Yes,
Inman, San Francisco, about 2 weeks ago.
What you don't know is we recorded this. We thought we recorded this just a minute ago.
Yes, moments ago. And it was really good.
It was really good.
Really good.
Anyway, we went to Inman about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we decided to file our report in the old media fashion instead of the hard-written fashion.
That was the theme. Mobile and video.
Mobile and media.
Yep.
And so video is it. So that's cool.
So don't call us lazy.
Yeah, we're just following what we learned.
We're just innovators.
So to open up, we had a great Brad Inman was there and gave us a nice speech, and it was interesting. He turned the conference over to one of his new guys on the block, and they did a great job with it. But,
so if you're not watching Inman Next is the latest, greatest out of Inman, and it's hosted by Katie Lance and Chris Smith.
Right.
And that's who actually did most of the conference.
Most of the conference, very good. But anyway, one of the things he said is the iPad is the middle stage of devices now, and that's amazing for me to think about. From if it's going to be the middle stage, what's the final stage going to look like?
Because it's the coolest, greatest thing going.
I know it.
Interesting, supporting that was, right now, 1 out of 6 searches, all searches, is happening via mobile device.
A mobile device of some sort.
So in real estate, you know that's going to be a lot higher because people are doing it in front of houses, people are doing it all over. But 1 out of 6, all searches. It's remarkable. So mobile has to be considered in every single thing.
So today's world it's all about media. He said, forget about the data. It's all about the user interface and the user experience. Yep. It's think device. They say don't think about the PC anymore, but just think about device.
Oh, yeah, he had old PCs up on the stage. It's dead. The PC is dead.
Some of the stuff that I can remember wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
But think mobile and say goodbye to your PC because it's not too far before everything's going to be on a little iPad. So,
big pitch words were definitely to think of your MLS as a media company and not as a data company. To change your way of looking at it. Those were definitely buzzwords going around throughout the conference.
Absolutely. So then we had a little presentation from the guy that is an angel investor to a lot of these startup companies. He's really cool. He talked about some of the things that they look for when they're doing these innovators, and he apparently had helped some of the guys with like Facebook and Google when they were getting started. You know,
just little things. They kind of caught on.
But it was interesting to me that he looks more at the traits of the individual and what motivates them and what vision they have and what direction they have, and not so much on the financial part of it.
And he said he likes them when they are 4 to 5 guys working in an apartment,
and it gets them to the point where they can then go off and get some venture capital. They call him an angel investor. But
he's one of the people behind the Airbnb.
Right.
So Airbnb is a new company, and they had one of the founders talking. They just got a $1 billion valuation. And they just got $112 million in venture capital.
Very cool.
And it's something to look at. There was talk at Bar Camp that could be a way for realtors actually to have a stream of income. I don't know. But I booked a place as soon as I got home for a training I'm doing in San Diego next 2 weeks.
You told me I can go and get a vacant house and rent out the bedroom?
I don't know. It's something to look at. Check it out.
Anyway, I had a presentation from an economist. He said basically... mortgages right now are underwriting to a standard that says we're not going to have any more foreclosures, and
slightly tight.
It's just way too tight.
Ridiculous.
And his prediction was it's going to take at least 2 years to work through the mortgage underwriting issues. So
Dodd-Frank still has 350 rules to still be written for it. I think they've had 180 written, or maybe less than that.
Dodd-Frank is a problem for the lending industry, and so it's got to be worked through, but. Basically, his take on it was that the mortgage industry still got at least 2 years to go.
Well, fortunately, with the crash, they're saying also interest rates aren't going up for 2 years. So that's a new update after Inman.
Can we look at this 2 years from now?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to want to see this.
Exactly. What else? Let's see.
New Kids on the Block.
The New Kids on the Block, yeah. We talked about House Tripper, which is a group buying home and garden an appliance type service similar to Groupon, but targeted toward the home and garden and appliance space. So
they want to be in the realtor's head.
Right.
They want to be thinking about
interesting. Might get some legs on it. There was Imfana. which was a property report.
I had a client tell me about this.
Really?
Regarding rental property. With rental properties being what they are, based on the lapsed armless thing we were looking at, it's like we have very, very, very low vacancy rate on rentals right now. Rentals is a big thing.
Right.
And getting renters into your space is probably a nice thing to be thinking about.
But that's it. We had a presentation on Facebook and Twitter and the social media. And one of the things that was recommended on that was to take an and mentality with your Facebook and your Twitter and your Google Plus and any of the other, your LinkedIn, rather than a singular, and make sure that you're in those spaces.
So in that vein, you're going to want to look at Hootsuite, and also one big takeaway I got was to update all of my notifications for all the different social networking sites, including things like Flickr, any place where you're participating. If when you originally signed up for those, you maybe turned off notifications or you didn't sign up to have it immediately notify you, you're missing out on communications from people, and that goes corporate-wise, your small business, and your personal stuff. So check your notifications on all of your things that you're actually participating.
And if you need help, Kerry's happy to go to lunch and show you how to do that.
In San Francisco, and you're buying.
There you go. Had, of course, presentations by Facebook regarding social and advertising and what it is. One of the things I learned is I didn't realize that Oodle powers the back end of the Facebook real estate part, and
that might have been the most interesting thing because I wasn't crazy about her participation or her presentation as it related to real estate in many ways.
Yeah,
but that was interesting.
It was. So we had pretty good presentations on that.
If you're not following a guy named Gaylord DeWald, who is thoughtfaucet.com, he talks a lot on real estate, MLS. You should be, and I'll include a link to him as well as other things at the end. Yep.
Trulia gave us a presentation as well, which I thought was actually pretty good. I mean, but they launched a new app. It's called, I don't remember the name of it, but it was to allow consumers.
Yeah, it's like social search.
I think that's what it is, but it allows consumers to recommend and then post to Facebook off of the Trulia site. So that's the first to do that, I think. Right?
It is the first, and I think it's something to think of actually maybe. Is it possible to do that kind of thing from our MLS? Is it possible to do it from a profile? Right. It's really, you want your Facebook people to see those recommendations, so maybe there's something we can actually come up with on that.
And they also said, that social is not advertising. That social is about building relationships, and real estate is a social transaction, and it's not a public transaction, so you got to be cognizant of those.
I don't know how that complies, though, with the NAR indexing policy. See your NAR manual.
There you go. Yep. But what I found interesting also was there was a talk with Emily White, I guess, gave this one. It said that 5 hours of each day is spent local, and people are they call it social because it is so local, and people like to discover, they like to try new things, and then if they love it, they want to recommend it.
Right.
And that's a social aspect that would work well in real estate.
Real estate. It's that hyper-local was the other, with the buzzwords that are going on right now.
Yeah.
And hyper-local social is exactly.
They talked a little bit about Groupon and why it doesn't really work in the real estate space the way that it does in a real restaurant or other spaces, and because people are looking for deep discounts and really can't offer that in the real estate space very easily.
Sort of a commodity.
Right, exactly. With Facebook, they also talked about pages and how to get set up with a page and how important that was. And I know Armos has a Facebook page that they monitor and keep up, and that's good. And basically, once you're there, you just got to start engaging with your fans and building that fan base, because and respond to the users, share industry news.
And being aware of your reputation, your online reputation, and constantly nurturing that via Facebook, via Twitter, via Google Alerts, things like that, and monitoring your
And it's reputation. Not only what you say, it's what others are saying about you as well. It builds your reputation.
And how you respond to somebody saying something bad.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this in the first video, so part 2 is really good.
Yeah.
Nabewise, this NABEWISE, that's really cool. It hasn't started here. I signed up to let me know if it comes here. But that is an app or a website where you can actually where people who live in a neighborhood can talk about their neighborhood. So it's all done from talk about organic. It's all done from the people who live there. Hyper local.
Hyper local.
And that's something people will totally spend time on.
Yeah, especially when they start in that social world. Right. They want things in their neighborhood.
If they narrow down to a certain...
The other one's Walk Score.
I love Walk Score. Yeah. I think Walk Score would be a great add-on to Armless.
Yeah.
It'll be great if we ever did a public-facing website. But it's also great just for realtors. Commute time is one of their biggest searches. So you can put in a house and a commute time. You can search by commute time and narrow your searches. Zillow uses it that way. HAR uses it. Yeah. I think it'd be a really cool thing to look at adding to our MLS.
And the other one that was kind of cool was Local Mine.
That's awesome.
It's going to be, the more people that sign up and use that as well, it's pretty cool. And I played with it a little bit in San Francisco, but I haven't played with it here yet. But
I've played with it a little bit here. It's fun. It's fun to play with.
But anyway, the overall theme of that first day was view yourself as a media company and not as a data company. And make sure that...
nurture your relationships.
Exactly.
And it's about relationships, which is what realtors know.
And being helpful to the consumer.
But it's true to know that about, think of it like that same way with MLSs. That's a really good lead into that.
Right, yeah.
Customer service. Oh.
Yeah. I want to talk about that, yeah.
This whole thing about customer experience being the key to everything. So the Good Life team, I think, is a team that talked about, this is theirs, a brokerage.
A real estate brokerage.
Yeah. And I think they're in Texas. Duane thinks they're in California, so I don't know. I'll send a link. They're in the internet, in the interweb. They're on the Google. But it was one of the things I loved about it was to love your people and to think of your employees as your customers as well. And I think that's something that I need to be reminded of when I sit in an Armless board or in any other boardroom and think about how much I want the employees to be nurtured and well cared for and how important that is.
But a couple other things they talked about was, that customer service is expected in today's world, and you can't really compete on customer service. 71% of their people say that customer experience is the thing that really drives consumers, and it's a new battleground. Not the service, but the customer experience. Overall experience. And I have to agree with that.
That's what we care about.
Yeah, I do. And it's something that I think we need to, at Armless, keep in front of our mind. That ought to be one of the core values, is that experience that our users have when they're using our system.
And our employees.
And our employees.
And if we ever have a public-facing MLS, those people as well. And it makes me think about you saying at restaurants, you're so annoyed when you can't get Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
it's customer experience.
I've had this thing 3 months, and now I'm annoyed when I can't I can't. And I was at Weimar this morning. They had it, but it's the first thing I asked.
Where's your Wi-Fi?
Where do you have Wi-Fi?
It's all about customer experience, and that is a huge thing.